Hello everybody, welcome back to the What If, and today we're going to do I believe it's part 5 of What If Deku had lelouches powers. And last where we left off, Deku was about to have a conference call with Jeremiah and Colleen about what the heroes are going to do. So, we get back into it, and Deku is sitting in his office as he's in a conference call with Colleen and Jeremiah as they're thinking of a plan of how to have a fake base set up at their old one so that the heroes still think that they're there. Dick is saying that he has a better idea, but the fake base will still be there. Them saying okay, as Jeremiah would hang up his call as Khalid would ask him one more question. Are you ready to test out the new armor that we just finished making? Deku is curious because they aren't a tech type group, so he was wanting to know what kind of armor they made. And they would say that he has to find out. Come down here to your next day off, and you'll see the armor we made. You'll probably take an interest in it. Deku, smirking and a devilish look in his eyes, says, "It's a done deal." Now, let's see about these pesky heroes. As the day of the raid of the heroes would come up, and the heroes would find a giant TV, some, quote, unfinished armor, which is all just plastic and sheet metal, just reformed to look like exoskeletons. The TV would pop on, and the mask Deku is wearing is covering his face, and he's hidden behind other pieces of equipment. As the heroes would see his face on the TV, as they would shout, "What do you think you're doing, you villain?" Deku would start chuckling and laughing as he says, "I'm no villain, nor my hero. I'm more like what you would call a vigilante of sorts. I'm not going to do harm to heroes, and I'm not going to do harm to villains. I'm neutral ground here. What I am going to do is, as a gate door would open behind, as the anti-All Might armor would walk into the room. And yeah, I know this is a weird looking picture to have as anti-All Might armor, but it's the best thing I can find that could look really good as, anti-All Might. So, sorry if it looks bad. But this walks into the room, clanking his fists together, as it points at All Might and gives him the finger saying, or his hand motioning towards him saying, "Come at me." All Might getting enraged, thinking that this is the main villain and it's just a controlled robot. As when Deku went to go punch the person straight in the chest, he hears a umph in there, and the robot doesn't move, and the person doesn't move. I keep saying robot, sorry. And they don't move. All Might's confused, and everyone else is shocked that it just took a hit from All Might and didn't move. The person in the armor says, "Now it's my turn," as they rear their fist back, punching All Might straight in the face, sending him flying into a wall. The other heroes are shocked, as the person in the armor just sat there and would point up to the screen. As Deku would say, "I'm not here to fight everyone, or kill anyone. Now, if I was, I would have sent this wonderful person in the armor to come attack you. But luckily for you, I didn't. I've built something that can counteract All Might and his quirk." And this is from, as Deku would explain that this armor was made from his smartest tech geniuses in his group. They designed it to act as a defense against All Might, just in case. The strongest hero can never beat this armor. as All Might would get up and walk straight to the person in the armor. As the person in the armor would just stand there with their arms crossed, just looking at All Might. The armor is just as tall as All Might, so if you can imagine All Might's height, the person in the armor is standing at the exact same height, so they're eye to eye. As All Might stared at the person, All Might backed off and said, "What are you planning, vigilante?" As Deku would just, they don't think it, or they don't see it, but they know that he's having a grin on his face, which he is. As Deku would say, "All I want you to do is leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. But if you come at me again," as another armored person would fall from the ceiling, and they would just land on the back of the person in the anti-All Might armor, saying, as Deku would say, "This person will come at you, but this armor is a little bit different than what you think." As the armor would turn invisible, disappearing straight from their eyes, and appearing right behind All Might, on his back. All Might then looks behind him to see the armored person looking right at him, and they wave. As All Might would go to punch, leaving a giant gust of wind as the armored person would be right in front of him. Deku would start chuckling and saying, "This armor is meant to kill heroes with speed quirks that can possibly be faster than any other human. This armor is built to defeat it." They would all just put their hands down their sides, shocked, thinking that they've just been outclassed by a villain. Well, that's what they're thinking. As Deku would then just turn the TV to a different screen, as he would say, "You see this right here?" As the camera's pointing to the ocean. You could just hear all the heroes say yes, as the submarine would rise. And it's just a picture of the ocean. There's no beach or anything in sight. It's just ocean. So as Deku would say, "This is our new home base. You see what it looks like. But there's tech on it that's so advanced that not even a satellite, the smartest person in the world, or even anyone can find it. If you want to find it, you're gonna have to ask me nicely." As Deku would start waving his hand side to side, saying, "I'm sorry this is a short visit for us heroes, but I have things to do today, and I have other plans tomorrow." As Deku would proceed to just turn off the TV and the anti-All Might and the other armor on the back of the anti-All Might would walk into the other room. As All Might tried to hit him again, the person in the suit would turn around, grabbing both his fists and kicking him straight in the chest, sending him flying through the wall and across the city. Obviously not meaning to do that, but the person in the armor says, "Well, he attacked first. This is self-defense." As what they didn't know is that there was a camera hidden in the room recording all of the action. And as soon as everyone left, the recording stopped. As that camera was linked right onto the submarine, as they would watch this, and it was the tech team, as well as the leaders of the group, which were Claim and Jeremiah, and Deku. Deku was there too, and Momo, of course. They were all watching this, as they would just start cheering. The whole tech team and Momo would cheer that their armor worked. As Deku would proceed to pat them all on the back, saying, "Congratulations, you guys did it. Now, our next plan." As Deku would explain that he thinks that they're going to be going on a little trip to a place called the USJ. Now, As Deku would get his suspicions, and he was correct, he would say that since they were going to a public place, I want two from the Spec Ops group to be on lookout around the building, not in it, or on it, around it. And if there's any suspicious activity, I will let you know immediately. They would say, right, as they would get their two best from the Spec Ops team to wait on the outside of the building, waiting for a signal just in case. As they would arrive on the bus after everyone was talking about their quirks, Deku not saying anything because he doesn't want to give it away, and Momo sitting next to him, just leaning her head on his shoulder. Just taking a little nap on the bus ride. They would get out, and the Spec Ops group would notice him, as he would just put a little signal right down by his waist that no one would notice, knowing that he's there, and that they need to watch his every movement. After they walk in, Deku feels a presence that shouldn't be there. So he gets a keen sense as he pushes a little button on his watch. As Momo notices this, because she's sitting right next to him, as she would look to her left to see Deku holding his hand on his wrist on his watch. As he would push a button alerting the Spec Ops team, telling them to bring in the anti-All Might armor and the other armor, just to get them ready. As the portal would open and the villains would walk out. As Deku would see them, and then all you hear is a loud crash and a bang as the anti-All Might armor and the speed armor would fall through the ceiling of the USJ, making a loud crash, landing right in front of the villains. As Mr. Aizawa would see them, he would shout, "You're the guys from the other day." As Deku would question, "What do you mean, Mr. Aizawa?" putting on a face, saying that he doesn't know what's going on. And so does everyone else in Momo, because Momo and Deku know what's going on, but no one else does. So to blend in, they have to question everything. Which everyone in Deku's group knew that he was going to do anyway, so just roll along. As Deku would look up and notice another figure on the roof, and this was the same armor that Deku owns, just to make it look like the leader showed up to talk to everyone. As the person in the armor would walk up to Mr. Aizawa in 13, it would say, "Well, if it isn't Aizawa, or should I say Eraserhead, in the Rescue Hero 13. My, what a nice little visit we should have again." As he pulls out from the other side of his cape just a little cup of tea, as he offers it to Aizawa. Aizawa is getting a little hesitant and just says no, as he says, "Fine. I knew you were very untrustworthy whenever it comes to people like me, so why don't I show you that I'm trustworthy?" The person in Deku's armor walks over to Momo, gives her the cup of tea, as she shakenly, quote, takes a sip, as the guy would say, "Don't worry, it's not poisoned or anything. I just added a little bit too much sweetener to it, and that's not my forte." As she would say, "It is really delicious," as she would just finish the cup and give it back to him, saying thank you. Him saying no problem. "Now, let my guys handle the rest of this." As the two Spec Ops groups in light armor, pretty much like the exoskeletons from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, if you've seen what those look like, they're pretty much wearing those, but they have a mask on and a little bit more carbon fiber armor padded onto them to make them a little bit more defended. As they would start taking out villains left and right, as then Shigaraki would call him the Nomu. And the Nomu comes out, and Shigaraki commanded it to go after the thing in the big armor, or the big robot thing, as the Nomu would have a fight against that. Since none of the students were transported out because the other armor's taken on Kirogiri, just fighting it with speed versus with the portal quirk. And every time the armored person does get teleported away, they just instantly show up right in front of Kirogiri. As the person in Deku's armor would sit down right in front, and if you didn't notice, this was Jeremiah in the armor. As Jeremiah would sit down on the edge of the stairs, just looking at all this, Deku would walk up, just tapping him on the shoulder as Jeremiah would look up and say, "Yes, what is it, young man?" As Aizawa and 13 were shocked to see that he walked up to him. Deku would say, "What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be like a villain or something? It sounds like the heroes don't like you for some reason." Jeremiah would laugh and say, "Oh no. We aren't heroes or villains, and I don't know why they hate us so much. We're doing the world a favor by helping. But I guess it's okay." As Jeremiah would say, "We're just here to help. I know we seem like a lively bunch to just come through a ceiling and attack, but you guys are about to be teleported and killed, so I thought it would be alright to help." Deku would say, "Well, thank you for helping us, sir." As Jeremiah would chuckle, saying, "It's no problem." As Deku would hand him a piece of paper, slipping it by everyone's eyes, Jeremiah would read it, saying, and the paper would say, "I know this is sudden, but All Might's gonna be here any second. One of the students ran off to go get poor heroes." Jeremiah would give a little nod, showing that he read the note. Deku would walk back to the group and just watch. As then the Nomu was punched through a wall, out into the forest, where it lands in cannon. Everyone being shocked, thinking that this robot thing just stood up to something that's supposed to kill All Might. Shigaraki saying that it's unfair, as they would be warped away by Kirigiri. Now, as Deku is sitting there, All Might rushes in saying, "I am here," as all the villains are defeated, and there's a giant hole in the ceiling and in the wall. All Might would ask what happened, and Mr. Aizawa said that that person from the other day showed up and defeated all the villains and left. All Might would be confused, saying, "Isn't he a villain though?" Momo and Deku would walk up, tapping All Might on the side and shoulder, or on the side, saying that he was actually a really nice guy, and we actually talked to him. Momo saying that he even gave me some tea, and it was really nice. All Might being a little taken back by this, thinking that the guy that the guy that sent something into a room with a bunch of other pro heroes that punched him through a wall and possibly some other buildings, just came in and helped young heroes in training and even gave one of them tea. Deku would then say that he even had a little chat with him and asked him what his intentions were. All Might asked what they were. "Please tell me the details, everything that you heard. Any information can help us to stop him." Deku would say that he just wanted to help everyone in need. He's not a hero or a villain is what he said. He's just a vigilante. All Might would be angered by this, saying, he doesn't think he can just run this town, does he? We will have to take him down." Aizawa kinda looks at him like he's been hurt or he's delusional. He came in to save the kids and he's thinking of taking the guy down, but it makes sense. He's a guy using his quirk without a license, and he's pretty much acting like a villain. Deku looking at Momo and asking, looking at Momo, as Deku would then ask, so, what do we do now? As everyone would get on the bus, head back to UA, as it would be dismissed for 2 weeks, and to get ready for the UA sports festival. And this is where I'm going to leave it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and the next series I'm going to do, or the next part I'm going to do, which will probably be right after this, is going to be What If Deku Was a Technopath. And I hope you guys will enjoy that series. Someone wanted me to bring it back and ask for a part 1, so that's what I'm going to do. And there wasn't a ship set in place for that, so on that next part, I'm going to ask for a ship. And another series I'm going to be doing, and also I'm going to be linking my Discord server, which has just been set up recently, in the description of the Technopath video. So I hope you guys will enjoy. Comment if there was any errors that you guys noticed or anything that you guys want fixed. I will try my best to do anything to make you guys a little happy, but if I can't do it, I'll make a video, I'll just say it in another part of another series. Also, a little leak for free that you guys are going to have, which will be here in a second. This is going to be a part 1 of a new series that's going to be coming out after the Technopath part 1. So I hope you guys are going to be looking forward to this. I'm not going to say the name, but let's just say it's going to be a major power boost. Well, see you guys in the next part, and I hope you guys enjoy.